Hello out there. My name is Reed Jonke, and today I wanted to talk to you all a little bit about college, particularly what you want to get out of college to help you set up for starting a job afterwards, particularly for engineering students. So, just to give you a little background on myself, I went to Virginia Tech for 4 years from 2020 to 2024, and I got my degree in mining engineering. And I have my diploma right here because I still haven't decided where I want to put it up on the wall yet. So there you go. You can see I got my BS in mining engineering. And after college finished, I got a job down here in Georgia working with a aggregates company. That's public information. Anyone can find that on the internet just by Googling my name. But yeah, my little brother is in a state where he has 1 year of college left, and I have a couple friends who are still in it, and sometimes they ask for advice, and I figured some other people out there might be interested in hearing some of what I have to say, especially from a mining engineer's perspective. There's not too many of us, and I think, I don't know, things are a little bit different in an industry such as mining, a sort of production industry. But yeah, so in terms of the best advice I can give for your college experiences, I think you should have as many internships as you can. For a 4 year degree, you have 3 summers worth while you're in college, right? Between your freshman and sophomore, your sophomore and junior, and your junior and senior years. And then theoretically, after senior year, you'd be looking for full-time employment. So you've got 3 summers to look for internships. Now, I did not have an internship my first summer in college between the freshman and sophomore year. So at Virginia Tech, the way they do the engineering degrees is you have that sort of general engineering major that you're in at first. So everyone takes a year of general engineering, and then you get put into your major afterwards. So I hadn't had any time in any of mining classes yet, and so I was a little hesitant to look for an internship that summer. But that might be my one biggest regret from college, because really, there were internships out there. Companies are always looking to hire interns because, one, there's no commitment. If you don't like them after the summer, you don't have to hire them back. And essentially, you can get them to do work for pretty low amounts of money. And then if they do turn out to be a good student or a good worker, you can always hire them back later. So it's a very low risk, high reward sort of thing that these companies can do. And then it also helps out the student as well, because what people complain about for a lot of job listings nowadays is, hey, they require 3 to 5 years of experience on this entry-level job. Well, if you've had 3 years of internship in your college time, you can claim that's sort of 3 years of experience on your application. So that helps out for one. But really, the biggest benefit of it is you get to figure out exactly what it is you do or don't want to do, and then meet people in whatever industry you're interested in. So for me personally, as a mining engineer, I thought I always wanted to do underground metals because it's a glamorous sort of thing, right? They're big mines. You can make a lot of money doing underground metals. There's a lot going on. You can be geotech. You can be mine planning. There's all sorts of aspects. As an engineer, it's very, very intriguing. All these different ways you can go that way. So I did that for a summer. I had a internship between my junior and senior years of college where I went out to a gold mine in Nevada and worked there for a summer. And I found out that working underground is not for me. And that was something I couldn't have told you before I did it. Mainly it came down to I didn't like being underground all day. Don't get me wrong, being underground was cool, and I liked that. Getting to do it once, I think, was awesome. But going underground every day for 10 hours a day and not being able to see the sun was a little grating, and that may sound like an exaggeration, but it wasn't really. I would get on the bus to get to the mine at 4:30 in the morning, get there at 6, go underground, come out at 4 p.m., take the bus home. By the time I got back in town, which was an hour and a half to 2 hours away from the mine, it would be time for dinner time in bed, basically. And that was rough on me. But then also I found out that I wanted to be within a day's drive of home. And that was something that hadn't occurred to me. I like to travel, I like to see new things, and I always kind of thought of myself as someone who could live and go anywhere. But after trying it for a summer, I found out that wasn't true. I like to be able to go home. And now, where I live in Georgia, now I'm a 9-hour drive from home. So it's a little too long to do for like a weekend or something. But if I take a day off of work, I can drive home in a day, have a day at home, and then drive home the next day. So that works out pretty well for me if I ever get homesick. But yeah, another sort of benefit to that is the connections you meet. So especially in the mining industry, everyone knows everyone. And I imagine it's the same in a lot of other engineering industries, sort of the smaller, more niche ones, such as aerospace engineering, which my brother's girlfriend is doing. But yeah, just having someone to be able to say, oh, he's a good worker, you should hire him, speaks volumes. And a lot of times, if someone knows you're a good worker, if they hear or have an opening in their own company, they may even go and seek you out specifically. Say, hey, I've got a job opening. I think you'd be a really great fit for it, and we'd love to have you on the team. Do you think you might apply? That's something that's happened to me before, and I've only been out of school for a year and a half. Now, part of that is because mining is a small industry. I only had 13 graduating kids in my class, and 3 of them went straight into the military. But yeah, there's getting to know people in industry is a plus. But some other advice I would give, especially for engineers, now this doesn't apply to medical students and all that, but don't worry about your grades too much, and don't stress on your classwork too much. What you learn in school is important, but your actual grades don't really matter. An employer's not gonna not hire you because your GPA is a 2.7, right? Well, maybe. But it's unlikely. Nowadays, we're kind of told, at least I was told in college, not to even put your GPA on your resume. And I didn't have a single employer ask me about mine. Now, my GPA was very good. I don't remember what it actually was. It was like a 3.82 or something like that. 3.86 maybe. But I did have a couple of friends who got way too invested in their own GPAs and said, oh, I need to get an A in this class. If I don't, my future's over and I'm never going to get hired. And it's not that bad. And a lot of times, the added stress of trying to think about that can make you perform worse. And I got to see that in a couple of my friends where when we would have particularly big tests, they would panic, study all night and all day, the days leading up to the test. And then when it actually came time to take the test, they were so fried out of their minds with the studying that they just couldn't focus. So yeah, while it's important to pass all of your classes, I'm not saying fail everything. And as an engineer, you need to know what's going on. You can't to be playing Clash Royale in the back of the classroom the whole time and expect to be a good engineer. But at the same time, if you're getting B's or C's in the class and you know what's going on, but you're not the greatest test taker, don't stress about it. What other pieces of advice do I have? I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. Well, anyway, keep in mind that you are paying to go to college. A lot of colleges have a lot of resources for helping you find jobs. There are career fairs. Companies come in all the time. Make sure you're taking advantage of those. A lot of people I know who are looking for jobs, I ask them, well, have you been to any career fairs? And they answer me with no. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to help you anymore, because with the reality of finding a job nowadays is there's a lot of things posted online that no one's really hiring for. In order to make an impression on someone and I guess not guarantee, but have a better chance of actually landing the job, you really want to talk to them in person first. So like my job that I'm working at now, I have because the recruiter for it like messaged me personally and said, hey, we really need someone to do this, and it looks like you'd be a great fit. And I was able to talk to her about it, and I came down here to Georgia for an interview, actually, before they even sort of pushed me through the online process. And then it ended up being sort of after they already decided they wanted to hire me. They were like, hey, complete the online application so we can shove you forward through our HR system. So I think a lot of other companies are like that today, where the online applications aren't really there to find people. They're more there to post so they can say they're hiring, and then they find someone they actually want through another means and say, hey, fill out this application so we can hire you, if you understand what I'm saying. And I know that's true with my company, not just my job. I know that's true for even sort of the hourly labor positions they hire for, because I've been out to some of these recruiting events. I've helped with them, and some people have come up to our table and said, hey, are y'all hiring? I'd like a job. And the plant manager or the hiring manager or whoever would be hiring them says, okay, we've got this online. You can fill that out, but really, if you're interested, come into my office on someday next week, and we can talk about it. So that's really the way you'll be moving forward with employment from college. We're sort of in this oversaturation market where a lot of people have degrees, and it's very hard to find someone who would be a good fit or knows what they're doing without actually being able to talk to them, because it's very easy to lie on your resume and on these online applications. So I think a lot of hiring managers just really want to talk to people. And what I said about the internships before kind of helps with that, and then the career fairs that you want to go to will help with that as well. So anytime that there's a group of companies in your industry that are all together for some event, they're usually there, well, if it's at a college, they're usually there because they want to hire college students. They're not there so they can just talk to you about how great they are and move on with their day. I know it might feel like that sometimes, but it's not. And a lot of times if they say, oh, well, just go on and there's an online application and fill that out, and we'll see where it goes from there, that's usually not a good sign that you're onto something. But if they're there and they're saying, hey, we have these interviews on site today, which a lot of times they do that, that is your best bet. And even better than that actually is applying for an internship. Get that, and then they know for sure if they like you and are able to move on. But I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say here for colleges, or how to get a job out of college. There's a little more than that, but the best advice I can really give is make sure you're meeting people, talking to people, and building a network in person is the most important thing. The online networks, they might have worked 10 years ago, I'm not really sure. I was in middle school 10 years ago, but nowadays LinkedIn and any sort of online, social media, whatever crap, really, for lack of a better word, doesn't really work. It's really hard to gauge who someone is from there, especially if you've never met them. So take every opportunity you can to meet people in real life and just sort of be around them so they get to know what sort of person you are, to be a good fit in their company. And it's not about what you know, it's about who you are and what you can bring to the table. It sounds kind of like cringe dating advice, but really it's what you can offer to them as a team. It's important. Anyway, I've been yapping for the last 3-4 minutes about the same thing without making any progress, so I'm going to end it here. But thanks for listening. This is my first sort of attempt at trying to talk about things to a camera. We'll see how it goes. I think I might have said too much, and I blink a lot, but we'll see how those can get fixed. But anyway, if you learned something about college, getting a job, and think you might make something different happen in your life because of what you heard today, that's the goal. But other than that, that's all I got. Stay safe out there. Take care. Bye.